Well, good evening listeners and welcome to WLN on 93.2 FM. We're here in our East London studios in downtown Hackney, and our guest in the studio tonight is from our Media Studies desk. It's George Pearson, and he's here to give his valuation of his media products. So I have a few questions for you, George. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, question one is from John in Deptford. He says, in what ways does your media product use, develop or challenge forms and conventions of real media products?
Right, yeah, great question, yeah. Well, I feel like in terms of using real media products, we were able to be inspired by different, different types of music videos that we've seen across all different genres. I'd like to point out particularly the Rihanna video that we found love with Calvin Harris. I feel like the narrative in that was something we really wanted to incorporate into our work, and I think we use a lot of conventions in that video, such as showing the real passionate relationship that they had, and in our actual piece, I feel like it really came across strongly, and it really supported our narrative. But in terms of camera shots, using the micro elements, mise-en-scène, sound, and all the editing, everything, we really wanted to look at certain videos such as the video by The Milk called Chip the Kids, not particularly famous, but we looked at that, and it was very useful particularly for camera movement, as it was one long take, and we wanted to use this style in our work, and through watching it and through analysing the way they did it, I think we portrayed a real message across to to whoever was in the audience. In terms of challenging, I feel like in our particular video, you'd feel like there was a desired outcome, something that was strived towards, that in the end all the troubles would go away and there would be the right outcome. But in the end, it's all about loss in the end. That's the main themes of the video. So I feel like it subverts this idea typically in like pop music videos where there's always a positive side to it, but this is very negative, and I feel like it really subverts the majority of media products out there. Yeah. And well, in terms of we really wanted to portray an indie type of vibe to it, which was portrayed in the costume and makeup, and particularly, and obviously the soundtrack to the song helped us to conform to that style. And I feel like we really wanted to portray that message to a particular audience of that indie genre, but in doing so, I feel like we were able to also branch out to other audiences, because we use many conventions of other genres, such as when we were using, we used quite a few from the pop genre, which will, it would go towards our target audience of like the younger males, younger females, younger target audience on the whole, because we use that idea of a relationship that people of that age particularly associate their lives with. And I feel like overall our product can both subvert and conform to particular media products that you see today, and I feel like that makes it a more powerful piece for the audience to observe, analyse and do with it what they choose.
Great, okay, thank you. Well, question 2 comes from Astrid from Frankfurt in Germany. She says, how effective is the combination of your main product and ancillary tasks?
So I really feel that this combination was evident in our task. I really wanted to portray this combination together, and I wanted to talk about it through the theme of simplicity. because I feel it's very common amongst main and ancillary. First of all, we'll start with the digipack, and I'd like to talk about how each image portrays a different message. So, for instance, the back cover shows our male protagonist in an open space by himself, just looking down into the open, and the image is also in black and white. And I think that this really shows a strong message to any like customers out there who are willing to buy the digipack, because what you can see here is a broken man, a man who's suffered a lot and feels isolated and completely out of his comfort zone, and he's just really damaged. And throughout the digipack you can see these different messages being portrayed, and each one just really represents something that the audience can grasp and really get their emotive side out and really connect with the digipack itself. And then as an audience, the desired effect of this is that they'll go to the main product and they'll look at the music video and they'll see how this connects to the digipack, and what they'll see is a very simple method that we've undertook to really kind of get that message of heartbreak, loss, separation sort of ideas, and they'll go straight to that, and they'll see how they're connected, they'll see this combination, and through this they'll really see how effective it really is, because they'll see how it really kind of integrates into people's lives, and how this could happen to them at any point in their lives. And through this it really goes really into like their kind of emotional side, and I feel like through the creation of this and through the combination and having that desired effect on the audience, it really creates a dramatic effect that the audience will enjoy and will feel really immersed by. Yeah.
Okay, question 3 is from Julio from Lisbon in Portugal, and he says, what have you learned from your audience feedback?
Well, my audience feedback, I think I've learnt a lot from it, because we went into it thinking, we went into the pitch thinking, wow, we don't really have a set idea for exactly what we want to do. So we thought we'd give it to the audience and then see what they thought would be the best course of action. So we narrowed it down to 3 songs that were potential choices, and we gave it to the audience to pick one of them and say why it would fit in a music video, and then we go off that, and then we found that the audience were very constructive in giving this this feedback, and they were able to give us very clear and concise answers, and then we were able to use them effectively in our final piece. As well as this, they gave us location ideas. They suggested rural and urban areas such as parks and central London, just like variations between the two, to show kind of like isolation and relationship, and then that would really get our message across. So I feel like we learned how to organise ourselves overall through the audience feedback, and I think it worked really well, and without it we wouldn't be able to get as far as we did with our media piece.
Thank you, George. Our final question comes from Matthew from Portadown in Northern Ireland, and he asks, how did you use media technologies in the construction and research, planning and evaluation stages?
In our construction stage particularly, we enjoyed using the camera because it really created that effectiveness that we thought would gain us the most marks. For instance, we used a lot of camera movements. We felt like we needed to go along with the narrative, and this involved a lot of track and dolly, and a lot of panoramics and things like that, and that really made the audience feel like they were there in the narrative, and I think we used the technology to portray that to the greatest extent that we could. Moving on to the research element, we were able to access the internet to look at different media products and gain inspiration from that. We were also able to plan out our piece and like how we were going to do it, how we were going to carry it out in terms of like having a gradual process on Wix's blog page, which really helped us out, and this helped us to overall at the end of the day evaluate, which we combined all these elements of editing as well, editing using crossfades and different transitions, camera movements, and internet research, and this really propelled our coursework to be as good as it can be.
Great, thank you, George. Well, that's all we've got time for tonight. So I'd like to thank our guest, George Pearson, in the studios, and it's good night from us here, downtown Hackney at WLN 93.2 FM.